Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right. Thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. This is Happy English Podcast, episode 503. 9 ways to use be up. Hey, guys, it's Michael here. Well, we are a couple of weeks into spring, and it actually seems like the weather is starting to warm up. I guess Old Man Winter has finally hit the road. I really like the spring, and one reason is it's my birthday. Yep, my birthday is coming up this weekend. Maybe a lot of you guys are wondering how old I am. Well, let's just say I'm somewhere between the Beatles and Bon Jovi. For today's English lesson, we're going to talk about the be verb, and specifically, I'm going to show you 9 ways that we can use the phrase be up. It's amazing to me how many phrases and idioms we have with these 2 little words. Today, we're going to do something a little different. At first, I'm going to tell you a little story that has these phrases and idioms in context. After the story, we're going to listen to a conversation between Jack and Tommy that uses the same phrases and idioms. And then, after that, we'll check out the meaning and usage of each one. Are you ready? Let's check it out. It was a little after midnight and Tommy's phone rang. It was Jack. He asked if Tommy was up. It seems like Jack woke Tommy up, and maybe Tommy was not up for the phone call. Jack said he was up a creek, and Tommy had a feeling that Jack was up to something. Tommy was right. Jack was at the casino and not doing very well. It seems like Jack is up to his old tricks again, but his gambling isn't up to par. Even though Jack was up and down all night, he was up against a really good poker player. As you can imagine, he was up to his eyeballs in debt.
Now listen to the conversation. First, you'll hear the conversation at a slow pace, slower than usual English conversation. At the end of this lesson, you'll have the chance to hear the same conversation, but at a faster, natural-sounding speed.
Hey, Tommy, are you up?
I'm up now, but I'm not sure if I'm up for this phone call. What's up?
I think I'm up a creek.
I had a feeling you were up to something. What happened?
I'm at the casino and lost a little money.
You're up to your old tricks again. I guess your gambling isn't up to par.
Well, actually I've been up and down all night. But then I was up against a really good poker player.
Let me guess. You're up to your eyeballs in debt.
Poor Jack. Seems like he's always getting himself in these situations. Okay, let's take a look at these phrases and idioms. First of all, Jack asked Tommy if he was up. Are you up? Be up means to be awake. For example, I'm up early every morning. I remember when I was a teenager, I used to be up all night. Next, when you are up for something, you are in the mood to do that. In other words, I'm up for it means, yeah, I want to do that. I feel like doing that. Of course, if you are not up for something, it means you are not in the mood or you don't want to do that. Here are some examples. It seems like in the conversation, Tommy wasn't up for Jack's phone call. I talked to Joe today. He's up for going to the bar tonight after work. I'm not up for another long and boring meeting with the boss. I hope this one goes quickly. Next up is up a creek or up a creek without a paddle. A creek is a small river, and a paddle is the stick that you can use to move a canoe or control a small boat. Well, if you were on the river or on the creek and you didn't have a paddle, you would be in trouble because you couldn't control the boat. So, when you are up a creek without a paddle, it means you are in trouble or in a difficult situation. These days, we often just use the short form of this idiom, which is to be up a creek. Here are some examples. Jack was up a creek when he lost money at the casino. I was up a creek when I lost my passport while traveling in Europe. You are going to be up a creek if you keep coming to work late. Next is be up to something. If you are suspicious that someone is doing something wrong, or if you have a feeling that a person is doing something bad, you can say, I think he's up to something. To be up to something means I think you're doing something wrong. Keep in mind, be up to something is a set phrase. You can say that someone is up to something. Or you can ask, are you up to something? Here are some examples. Tommy had a feeling that Jack was up to something because Jack called him after midnight. Hey, why are you smiling like that? Are you up to something? There were a few teenagers on the train behaving strangely. I think they were up to something. Next is be up to your old tricks. When someone has a bad habit or some bad behavior that they used to do, and then suddenly they do it now, you can say that they are up to their old tricks. So, to be up to your old tricks means to be doing something that you used to do, and that something is not something good, like gambling, smoking, heavy drinking, and so on. For example, Jack stopped gambling a few years ago, but now it seems like he's up to his old tricks. This means Jack started gambling again. Mario has been to the bar every night this week. It seems like he's up to his old tricks again. The boss is up to his old tricks again. He has been taking notes about what time everybody arrives at the office in the morning. Next is be up to par. Par. In golf, par means the usual number of strokes that you need to get the ball in the hole. Some holes you can do that in 3 strokes. Some holes 4 strokes. So par is that correct or acceptable number of strokes. Well, the idiom to be up to par means to do something or something is at the correct or acceptable level. For example, Jack's gambling wasn't up to par tonight. This means he wasn't playing very well. Frank's work as a salesman wasn't up to par, so he was fired from his job. The food in this restaurant is usually very good, but tonight it's not really up to par. Next is to be up and down. When something fluctuates, rises and falls in an irregular or unusual way, we can say that it is up and down. Here are some examples. Jack was winning a little and then losing a little at the casino. He was up and down. The price of gasoline these days is up and down. My weight has been up and down recently. I really think I need a healthier lifestyle. Next is be up against. Up against. When you are facing a difficult situation or a person who's a rival, you can say that you are up against that situation or you are up against that person. For example, Jack was up against a really good poker player. Richie just got fired from his job. He's up against a tough job market these days. If we drive to Boston at 7 a.m., we are going to be up against a lot of heavy traffic. And finally, we have be up to your eyeballs in something. The space from the bottom of your feet to your eyeballs is a very large percentage of your body. It's a lot. So, if you are up to your eyeballs in something, it means that you have too much of that thing or too much to do. For example, it seems like Jack is up to his eyeballs in debt. It means Jack has too much debt. Recently, I have been up to my eyeballs in work. Jenny is growing tomatoes in her garden and she's a little too successful. She has hundreds of tomatoes, so she is up to her eyeballs in tomatoes.
Now, listen to the conversation again at a more natural speed.
Hey, Tommy, are you up?
I'm up now, but I'm not sure if I'm up for this phone call. What's up?
I think I'm up a creek.
I had a feeling you were up to something. What happened?
I'm at the casino and I lost a little money.
You're up to your old tricks again. I guess your gambling isn't up to par.
Well, actually, I've been up and down all night. But then I was up against a really good poker player.
Let me guess. You're up to your eyeballs in debt.
Well, I think after this English lesson, you guys are up to your eyeballs in idioms. So, that's our English lesson for today. If you want to read the examples in this lesson or get word-for-word transcripts of the Happy English podcast, just visit myhappyenglish.com and check lesson 503. Hey, thanks for studying, and I'll see you next time at Happy English. Catch you later.
This podcast is brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English. Get happy. Happy English.